for hearing it. You know, back in 2010, when we passed the Affordable Care Act, well, when Congress passed the Affordable Care Act, we knew that it would do good things, certainly around Medicaid expansion and some other pieces. But we also knew that even when it's fully phased in, there's still going to be problems. Healthcare or access to quality healthcare is still going to be largely a function of employment. The high cost of healthcare is not really addressed in that act. There are a number of things that we're going to have to do to keep working on providing universal health care that's quality care that's affordable for everyone. One of the positive things that happened in the passage of the Affordable Care Act was a provision was put in, and actually that was largely due to the work of our own Senator Ron Wyden, that allows states to look at and ultimately request waivers for alternative programs. This could not happen until 2017 to give the Affordable Care Act time to roll out, but it's something that states were encouraged to do. And we have followed up on that here in Oregon, looking at crafting in the legislature, working with advocates, bills that would be an Oregon version of universal health care. Starting in 2011, we have provided a bill in each session that would look at what it might look like in Oregon. And each session, we've doubled the number of sponsors of the bill in order to keep this conversation going within the legislature and to be a vehicle for the state to be talking about this and for organizing to happen. Because we knew that this was not going to be something that the legislature alone could fix. Ultimately, something like universal health care in this state, which is so badly needed, would require a vote of the people and would require organizing all over the state. We knew that to do that, we would have to give the voters confidence that this was a good, responsible plan. And so in 2013, the legislature enacted House Bill 3260, which laid out the principles of what universal health care could look like, and crafted a study that could be done by an outside group to look at what would be the best way of getting to that vision. In 2015, the legislature funded that study, and it's currently underway by the RAND Corporation in connection with a local group, HMA Associates. We'll get the results of that study mid-November, so just a little over a month away from the results of that. We don't obviously want this to be a study that just goes up on the shelf. The next step is to look at the study and to operationalize it. And so we'll have a bill in for next session to create a task force that will take the findings of the study and craft a plan that could then go out to the voters ultimately. We want to make sure that we have the most support possible for this, for the work of this task force. And so we're asking local governments to weigh in and to encourage the legislature to keep doing this work. And hence this resolution, which is in concert with resolutions in governments all over the state. Ashland, Corvallis, I think Eugene, you'll probably hear more. This is really a fine resolution, and I really appreciate your putting it forward. And I'll stop there, be happy to answer any particular questions you might have about the bills, the study, etc.
I have one, and that is, why does it take a vote of the people?
For universal health care will require a different funding mechanism. And so the legislature could pass it, but we know that it's the kind of thing that would inevitably be referred to the people. And so it just makes sense to me and to many of my colleagues, let's be proactive about this. Let's assume that this is something that will have to go to the people and do the organizing to build the support for it. And, you know, what we're talking about in coming up with something which is, you know, really very comprehensive and that would address the needs of all Oregonians. This really is something that all Oregonians should weigh in on, I believe.
Thank you for the
This is
additional
state senator.
Thank you.
I just have one question. I guess I'm lost. How does this relate to getting a Medicaid waiver in 2017?
So this is not just a Medicaid waiver that we're talking about. Now, the state is always asking for different kinds of Medicaid waivers, and we're looking for another one related to our CCOs. That's a different story. This is a waiver, and I don't remember the clause in the Affordable Care Act. That's how professionals refer to it, but it's that waiver which allows states to create their own public option or more comprehensive system.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you, honorable commissioners, people in the hall this morning, for your support of Equity